This finna go out as the trial of the century.
Yo, face! Yo, your face, please! With Durk on top!
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, please make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're able to be a little more explicit, a little more uncensored, and share content freely without running the risk of having our channel terminated. So, once again, make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. Now let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, there's been a couple updates concerning FBG Durk's case and the trial involving OBlock members, whereas today, November 7th, 2023, the trial has been set to begin. It was supposed to begin last month, as it did, but then it took a little time for the courts to select jury members. So I'm assuming they have all the jury and everything underway, so now it's just a matter of the court process playing out and seeing what happens in the end of it all. Now during the trial, as we get information and certain updates, we will continue to update y'all. Mama Durk was updating everyone for a while, and we will piggyback off of what she said, bringing awareness to it and giving our feedback. However, she stated that she's tired of people taking her videos. So from now on, she'll be updating everyone through her OnlyFans account. So if you want, you can stay updated through Mama Durk by subscribing to her OnlyFans, where she'll be updating you guys over there as well. Now today we learned a few updates. We learned from Mama Durk that Los Munna's mother was in the courtroom present during the trial, but not only was she there, she was present with a man who Mama Durk used to date back in the days from 4-6. So for her to find out that one of the guys she used to mess with, their son, Los Munna, is actually one of the suspects involved in her son's death, which is pretty crazy.
So I don't know who else mama up in there. And I think Los Munna mama up in there. Cause she been one of the who that I used to actually way back in the day from 4-6. I think he got shot up lonely of me. I'd actually nursed him back to health. Everything, he was spazzing, he couldn't walk, he was in a wheelchair. And come to find out his son is one of the because that's on trial for killing my son. And that's what makes it so weird to me.
Also keep in mind that this further proves that a lot of these guys who are enemies now are somehow, some way connected to each other despite them wanting to do so much harm to one another as well. They got their parents, they got siblings who know each other. And not only that, they either lived in the same apartment complex or went to school with each other. Now, we will also find out that the jury would get to see footage of the final moments that FBG Durk was alive after he was shot in the Gold Coast. The footage included would be a body-worn camera that captured Durk's final moments by an officer as police tried to assist the situation at the time. So not to get it confused, but this is not surveillance footage from any cameras attached to stores or on the street. It's body cam footage coming from an officer's camera attached to his persons. This would include anything that FBG Durk was saying while fighting for his life, as although the graphic content may be hard to watch, it was ruled to be adequate in the prejudicial effect by U.S. District Judge Martha Pacole. In simpler terms, although it's graphic footage, it may be hard for some people as Mama Durk to watch, where her son would be seen alive before succumbing to his injuries, but the judge feels that it's okay for prosecutors to use, as it may help in their prosecution, I'm assuming for people to understand how serious the gang scene in Chicago actually is, which may help for city officials to tackle other difficulties that's going on in the city based on this case. Now, of course, it'll be hard for Mama Durk having to witness that, and in fact, in the article by Chicago Sun-Times, it explained that in the courtroom, the 6 suspects all wore white Oxford shirts or full suits in the courtroom, and Mama Durk sat in the 4th row of the gallery. It expressed that when Assistant U.S. Attorney Caitlin Wagamuth began describing the fatal shooting that also wounded her son's girlfriend and a bystander, Mama Durk will let out a very loud cry, having to hear what these suspects have done to her son. When we called Mama Ducks live earlier, we could see that she had been crying, as she seemed like she had let it all out and gathered herself together before getting on live, because she was still sniffling as she struggled to speak to the audience. Now, during the opening statements of the trial, U.S. Assistant Attorney Caitlin Wagamuth said, quote, "They had one mission to kill Duck, whose real name is Carlton Weekly." Now, she explained how the two cars carrying the 6 people made it their business to leave OBlock to make it to the Gold Coast, all within the span of 27 minutes after receiving a call detailing Duck's location. After arriving on the scene spotting Duck, he was shot 16 times within 20 seconds, and 2 cars was captured fleeing the scene. Those 2 cars held 6 suspects who appeared in court today by the name of Charles C. Murder Liggins, Kenneth Kenny or Kenny Mac Robinson, to Carlos Los Orford, Christopher C. Thang Thomas, Marcus Muop Smart, and Ralph Tall or TZ Turpin, who was the man that's actually behind everything that's going on, as he was the one that was accused for dropping Duck's location. It's been alleged that TZ would call Lil Durk's brother D-Thang phone and desperately try and get in contact with him after giving up the location for unknown reasons. However, D-Thang's wife would testify that she don't know who TZ is, and although she is the subscriber on the T-Mobile account that's attached to the number TZ called, her husband and child's father, D-Thang, was the primary user of the device. So I guess we'll just have to stay tuned and see how that plays out. Now, there's another suspect who was involved by the name of Zell Munner, but unfortunately, it's said that he took his own life due to complications with his girlfriend back in August of 2021. Though his death is very sketchy, some say he shot himself, and some say he OD'd on fake pills. Some even said that he was one of the guys that snitched and couldn't deal with his decision, so he decided to take his own life. Whatever it was, if he was alive, he'd be charged along with the other suspects within this case. Now, the trial is expected to last for about 2 months, and the article says the government plans to call a range of witnesses followed by evidence that they've gathered from surveillance video of the attack. And although we knew that it had to be some sort of video surveillance of the attack, being that it was in the Gold Coast, which consists of a whole bunch of stores, no surveillance video had been made public as of yet. But that's until now. Video surveillance will be shown in the courtroom for courtgoers and jurors to see, and I know Mama Duck will be there as well, and I'm sure it'll be very tough for her to have to witness something like that. We all are strong in our own right, and despite what y'all say about Mama Duck, just imagine if you had to witness your child being taken out on video. You know, it's one thing to lose a child, but it's a different type of animal when you have to watch a video of the whole thing play out, you know, and then look over to the people who allegedly did it sitting just a couple feet away from you. Now, I haven't been through something like that, thank God, but just imagining something like that is enough to give somebody chills. Now, they also say crime scene photos will also play a part as evidence, and music will be used, in which I'm assuming that they're going to be relying on lyrics from music to prove the beef between the two sides. Not to mention, Robertson, aka Kenny Mac, already told another cooperating witness that the only reason he took part in the shooting is because King Von placed a hit. And by hit, that means he put money on his head. So I'm assuming that's where the 100K bounty people are assuming Von put on Duck came from, but it still don't take away from the involvement that these guys had during the crime. Now, another part I found interesting was C. Murder and his defense arguments, right? Whereas his attorney, Gregory Mitchell, will use Chief Keef drill rap success as an excuse for C. Murder's lifestyle, which is kind of crazy. Gregory will go on to say that C. Murder and Chief Keef was friends, and seeing his success made him and other OBlock rappers see a way out the hood, which birthed his quote-unquote image. So what his attorney is trying to say that the reason why he picked up the whole gangster lifestyle and tough things is because he's seen a way out of the hood, because Chief Keef came up off of drill rap, which is associated with being tough and the whole image or whatever. So that's what they're going with, which is kind of crazy. But attorney Mitchell would say, quote, "This is how you make it. You create an image." That's him describing Liggins' alias C. Murder, as he knows that the name wouldn't be such a good idea trying to defend someone named C. Murder during a murder trial that he's suspected of committing. In the end, Mitchell would deny that C. Murder played any role in the shooting, and also stated that OBlock isn't a criminal enterprise. Now, y'all have to remember that from the beginning, we were told that out of all the suspects, Muwab was the only one that has a paid attorney. And if you've ever been a part of that court process where you're given a lawyer to represent you by the courts, you know that they don't help you and most likely they're just trying to get you lesser time opposed to getting you no time. You know, like a regular lawyer would fight to do, as he's paid to do so, right? Now you got some that actually go out their way, but majority of the time, if you aren't paying for legal representation, they're not going to go the extra mile to help you within your case. Simple. Now, aside from that, if y'all pay attention to the Chicago Sun-Times article, you can observe that Little Durk's name was mentioned. They stated that he shared ties with the defendants who are on trial and also shares beef with the same people as the suspects. Now, I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but it seemed like it's only a matter of time before they start looking into Durk and the position that he plays within this whole organization of OBlock, OTF, and whatever associated. And I'm actually surprised that they haven't already, because with Durk being the biggest breadwinner out of OBlock and having affiliation with the suspects involved, if you're going to hand down a RICO charge that includes money being used to further the enterprise, the first thing they usually do is attack the head, which would be the main breadwinner, which in this case, that would be Little Durk. Now, if you pay attention to the YSL case, they stated that they were a gang, and Young Thug was the person who was funding the gang through the money he made from his music career. And they mentioned before in this case that Vaughn has been seen buying change for OBlock members as a reward, but we've also seen Durk do the same thing on camera. And I don't wish jail or death on anyone, but I just find it funny how people pick and choose to point out certain things when it comes to certain people. But that's pretty much it, man. As more updates come through, we'll keep you guys updated in this case. If y'all search the channel, you can see we've been covering this from the beginning. I've always felt it's been a lot of weird play in this case from the beginning. When we saw the video of Duck being on the floor for a long time, down to the weird guy on the bike who claimed he shared a room or whatever he said he shared with Duck. You know, it's like nobody brings him up anymore, but he was the first person on the scene, as he said himself, on camera, who claimed he was just riding his bike down the street and seen Duck laying on the floor. Then he said at first he didn't know Duck, then he claimed he did know Duck. But like I said, nobody that's affiliated with Duck could point this guy out and say they knew who he was. To this day, nobody know who he was. He doesn't come up anymore. Nobody's interviewing him no more. He's not making any type of remarks about the case, no nothing. So I wonder where he's at, right? So like I said, we've always been sketchy about the information in this case. If y'all would like to catch up with some of the videos we did on this prior to the trial, y'all could just search the channel. And before we go, for the people that love commenting things like, oh, he was lacking, y'all just gotta accept it. He had no business out in the open like that for so long, knowing he was in Chicago. Y'all gotta understand this. I'm sure Duck wasn't expecting dudes to be that dumb to really want to catch a body in broad daylight downtown in the Gold Coast, where there's nothing but cameras, nothing but witnesses, and sometimes some things are just inevitable, right? People can't be on guard 24/7. You got some time where you are, but then you got sometimes you lack. You know, it's been said many times that Duck caught his ops lacking, but he gave them a pass. You know, it's just unfortunate that some of these guys don't have no morals, no principles. So instead they took the risk and now they're facing the rest of their life behind bars. So that's pretty much it, y'all. I know it was a long one, but it's a lot going on when it comes to the situation. Like I said, we've been covering it. It's actually interesting. It's getting even more crazy. And I'm sure as surveillance be put out there, I'm sure as more body camera footage, more updates and details that we get, it's going to get more interesting. And I'm assuming more people are going to be involved than we think. All right. I feel it's way more than we're being told behind the scenes. But then y'all going to swear we are conspiracy theorists, and it just is what it is, y'all. Y'all jump in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. And I'm out.